his shoes out. All right. Hope everyone had a happy and safe Halloween. And yeah, let's get started. Okay. First question, Alexandria. Hello, I'm new to your page. I have some concerns about our 7-month-old male silver lab. About 2 months ago, he started to have bone and food aggression issues. We aren't sure what caused this or if the issues have been there for a while and we didn't notice. You can approach him, but if you touch him or move towards the bone slash food, he starts to growl. We've been trying to take baby steps on building trust, but nothing seems to work. We aren't sure what else to do. Thank you for your help. I won't be able to watch the live video until tomorrow. All right. So you got a 7-month-old. I wouldn't at this point worry about building trust or baby steps or any of that. What you have to do is be the dog's mother. So just think of put your dog in put yourself in a mother dog's shoes, and you basically have to be the one who can take the bone at any point. It's only 7 months old. It's a puppy. You want to stop those challenging behaviors right now. The dog is challenging you. The dog is, it's a really easy thing to sort of let slip, but it's also a very important thing long term. You want to always be able to take food, bones, whatever it is away from your dog. If it's a silver lab, you may want to hunt with the dog later on. It'd be great, obviously, if you want to take a bird from the dog. But the dog is going to want what it wants, but it should have enough respect for you in order to, so that you can take anything at any time from the dog. Okay, so if it gets ugly with you, you may have to get a little ugly back to show the dog that you have to respect the fact that I need to be able to take things from you. Okay, so it's not about, again, don't worry about building trust or baby steps. The trust is there. It's not like he's afraid of you or anything like that. Because if he was, he probably wouldn't get that way. So it's a simple respect thing, and you must get the dog to respect that you can take things from him. Okay. Thank you for your question. Okay. Guys, those of you who are watching live too, if you have any questions, I've got questions to answer on from other social media outlets, but I will make you guys the priority. So when you guys type in a question, I will answer your question. All right. Okay, next question. Anxiety for dogs in car. Basically, if at any point your dog is showing any behavior that seems uncontrollable, meaning you can't voice command the dog, or when you say stop, the dog doesn't stop, or it just seems obsessive. Any behavior, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter where it is, you should get the dog to stop for the dog's benefit. And anxiety in the car, many dogs face that, but basically you have to give the dog something that can occupy his mind other than whatever's making the dog anxious. Okay, so whether it's the cars, whether it's just your car, whatever it is, the dog must be given something to do that he must do. Okay, so what I usually do with dogs is make them lie down. I just had 2 new dogs that I had to do so. So one of them is a pitty mix, or a pit no mix, and then one of them is a King Cavalier Charles Spaniel. The Spaniel, when we would start to move the car, would start to scratch at the crate, obsessively, just scratch. You could just hear the nails going at it. And I wanted to definitely stop that. That's obsessive behavior. There's no reason for it. And then the other dog would stand up in the crate. There's no reason for standing in the crate. It's a it's a first good step, right? To let you know that the dog is going to uh, go into their anxiety. So I would not allow the dog to obsessively stand. Dog can do what it wants as long as the behavior is not obsessive. Okay, I don't care if the dog is looking out the window. I don't care if the dog is, um, you know, doing whatever it wants to do. As long as it can be controlled by you, it must be. Otherwise, it will slip into something that is obsessive and not healthy for them. So, so again, getting the dog to do something for you is key on getting the dog to get over their anxiety. You have to give the dog something to do to occupy that mind. All right. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. We are live on YouTube as well. So for some reason, if Facebook starts to crash, which it's never have, which is awesome, but YouTube, we are live on YouTube as well. All right. Okay, next question. She's good in the crate till you leave. Then whoa. Okay. Next question. Hello. This question is for Michelle. Hello. Or help with my dog, please. Have been reading about you and checking your site out. My younger female dog attacks my senior female dog, and we are hearing it's a submissive thing. Can you help? Attacking is not a submissive thing. Attacking is a controlling thing, a dominant thing. It definitely has nothing to do with them being submissive. Dogs don't attack out of submission. I can definitely help with that. When you are dealing with dogs who are fighting, it's like children who are fighting. What happens when children fight? The parents have to step in and take control. Same thing with dogs. You have to step in and take control. And they must listen to you. If they're not listening to you to a certain level, then they are free to fight. They're free to do what they want. So I would get more control over your dogs. Because even if they don't like each other, they can respect each other and or respect your leadership. So it's about being a little bit more tough on them on an individual basis first to make it really easy. And then dealing with their dynamic together. They may like each other. They may end up liking each other after you've shown a certain level of control over both dogs. Because sometimes they fight because of the lack of control of each individual. So one dog may be trying to control another dog's obsessive behavior by fighting. For example, a lot of dogs get into fights with their housemate or whatever it is when dogs go in and out of doors. And we all know of a dog that is hard to control going in and out of doors. It's a threshold. As soon as you open that door, it's obsessive behavior to go out. And it's hard to control. Some dogs will fight their sibling in that scenario because they're trying to control that obsessive behavior. Which you guys have, the human has to be able to do that. Any behavior should not be something that you cannot control. Because you are keeping that dog from actually learning. I had a client of mine actually mention that their dog was dumb, not intelligent. But in my mind, they have the capacity to be intelligent. They're just slave to their anxiety, insecurities, which keep them from actually learning and seeing things the way we see it. So so back to your question, if you have fighting dogs in general, you just have to approach it with the same mindset of what you would do with children, and you have to um, have to gain the ability to control both dogs, and then they will actually have a chance to establish a respectful and eventually, hopefully, a friendly relationship. Because they can have started out being friends, and then somewhere along the line, one of the dogs felt like they had to take control, and then the relationship is actually damaged, and trust is actually lost between the two. And so, in order to get that, you have to take charge for long enough until they can see eye to eye again. All right. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another. Currently, we have to keep them separated. Yep, yeah, that's fine. That's fine for now. But again, the it's up to you guys. It's up to the control of you guys. Listen, dogs have got to be educated. We educate it's just like children. Again, they have to go to school, or they have to receive some sort of education, or there will be we'll just be raising not educated. So dogs have to have some education as well from you guys, from the parents, in order to get along and to thrive and to live a good life. Okay. Hi, Shang. How are you? All right. Next question. Okay. Pulling it up. Okay. My dog is crated when at work, and she barks like crazy when she hears me pull in. She jumps on me. You're welcome. She jumps on me when I get home. What's the best way to stop the jumping? Act like a tree? Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and say there's probably a very small to no dogs, a small percentage to actually no dogs who will stop jumping on someone if they act like a tree. Unless you are a tree that would be willing to stand there for about 30 minutes straight. I'll even give you 15 minutes straight. Now, but 15 minutes is a long time. How about this? Okay, this is how you can approach it. Either you walk in, you start your timer. You can do it on your phone and just stand there for 15 minutes. Yeah, sure. Let the dog absolutely wear itself out by jumping on you, jumping on you. It's still going to jump on you. But what's going to happen is the dog figures out that it doesn't get your attention, which is what it wants. Okay, so you can do it that way. That's one way of doing it. It will take a ton of patience from you, but it will work. And then you can actually get respect from your dog when they jump on you as well. Dogs should not be jumping on you, especially if they're over 30 pounds. Should not be jumping on you. I'm going to start being tough on people now. Two things. Dogs should not be jumping on you, for one. Dogs should not be barking obsessively in the house while you're home. Those two things should not happen. If those things happen, you do not have the respectful relationship that you must have in order to stop those nuisance behaviors. Okay, so no jumping and no barking while you're at home. Should be quiet. Should be quiet. In general, taking in adult foster dogs, what would you recommend being the first thing to work on them with? Man, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So when I take in foster dogs, or when I take in, equate foster dogs to newborn and trained dogs. The first thing that I want to work on is how do I get the dog to respect me? Um, how do I get the dog to look to me as their leader the quickest? Because uh, what's going to happen is you alleviate your the possibility of them acting aggressive towards you, and then you also optimize their learning ability with you. But that takes sacrifice of not trying to be friendly as the priority. A friendship should come after the respect. The respect is going to be the key in getting it in helping the dog learn um, the quickest. So when you're dealing with a foster dog, you want to make the dog as adoptable as possible. So the goal in my mind should be to teach basic skills in order to make them adoptable, more adoptable in a good amount of time. And so the first thing that I do with a dog is take them on a walk. Um, and this walk isn't demanding, mm, meaning I don't really want the dog to heal. They're definitely not. It's depending on the dog, right? But they're definitely not sniffing obsessively. They're definitely not pulling. They're definitely not stopping me. I never stop walking because I want the dog to start to already think in follower mode. I want the dog to uh, really start to build respect, and then as a result of that, the trust starts to manifest. And so I just take the dog on the walk. I don't speak to the dog much other than come on or sit, anything like that. I don't pet the dog. I don't give the dog treats. All I do is we're just walking, and that's it. Okay, so that's a very good skill to learn. Um, Loose leash walking is a very good skill to learn. Patience. You're also helping the dog become patient with, helping or, waiting for you when you stop. Also, only walking when you walk. Things like that. So that's the first thing. And then the other important thing is keeping the foster dog quiet in the crate. Um, that's a very important thing too. That there's tons of dogs that get sent back because they bark, 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 bark. Right. So um, that's another thing that I would definitely emphasize is behavior in the crate, calmness. Okay. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another. Alrighty then. Next question. You don't allow barking at the door. I do allow barking at the door. I should clarify. Thanks for asking that question. I should clarify. I'm not saying you don't, they shouldn't bark when there is, a doorbell ring or a door knock. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it shouldn't be something that you can't control. After you have looked outside and found that it's a friendly neighbor, then the dog actually should be quiet. That's what I'm saying. No, 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 no. They're always going to bark. You're never going to not get them to not bark, and I don't think you should. Maybe you can, but I think it'd take a lot of bull crap to do so. But you should let them bark. But again, once you check, because that's their job, once you check that the coast is clear, and it's your neighbor, and it's your mother, and it's your family, now they've got to stop. Stop barking and go lay down instead of opening the door, running out, jumping on strangers, or jumping on your guests, things like that. Very important, very tough, but very good to be able to obtain. All right. I agree with the respect first, friends after. I had a dog with a muzzle on that was going for me. I walked up to him and let him learn that will get him nowhere. You'll get no reaction from me. There you go. On the jumping subject, when I come home, my two don't exactly jump on me, but around me. I've tried to stop this habit by having them sit and stay calm before I pet them. Is this a good way to make them stop the jumping in front of me when they are excited? I would say the best option for that is to um, actually go tell them to lay down on their bed. Um, and that doesn't mean, well, so yeah, that's what I would do. I'm not even going to recommend the couch, but I mean, I guess that can work. But no, I really want. That's what I would do if I walk into my house. Uh, at this point now, my dogs just don't even get up. But I would just tell them to go lay down, and then put your bags down, get settled, put the groceries away. Don't make the dog the priority. Don't let their pushy behavior get them anywhere, and leave duration leave enough time for the dog's mind to actually settle down and then interact with them. Don't interact with them when they're very excited. And this is tough because we're so conditioned to open the door and say, "Oh my God, Harry, how are you?" That's just reinforcing that jumping crazy behavior. So it may take some time, but it's a very good goal to be able to control your dog with that door. Especially if your dog has any issues with strangers and knocking and doorbell. Um, that should definitely then be a goal that you can actually control your dog going through the door. Okay? Thank you for your question. All right. Next question. Oh, I've got a question on. Okay. How do you stop a dog from barking at the doorbell when people come into the house? All right. Well, so we've kind of touched on this, so I'll briefly tell you. But again, you have to give that dog a job to do. One of the things that I say, I keep things very basic. So if you if you feel that I'm repetitive, it's okay because I want to keep things basic. I don't want to overcomplicate things. But basically, what you want to do when dogs are barking at the door is give them a job to do. Okay, and have a bed away from the door, somewhere in the living room where maybe they can see it or not. But they then actually, when you tell them to go lay down, that they do so. Okay, and if you do that, if you can do that, um, in general, without people coming in, you want to be able to have that. Okay, first and foremost, that's the first step. Is when you come in to the door, can you say go lay down, and your dogs actually do that? Or just in general, like you're just sitting on the couch chilling, watching TV, your dog comes over to you, and you're like, I don't want to be pet right now, or I'm eating right now, go lay down. If you have that sort of control, then, or if you don't have that sort of control, that's what I would do first. But so if you do, then you can take the next step and you go ahead and start opening the door and knocking on the door and this and that, so that they can sort of really get conditioned to listening to you in that circumstance with the door opening. Because if the only time the door opens is when a stranger comes over or you come in and the behavior is very excitable or are barking, two of which are both out of control, then you want to address that and start reversing that. The door opening should not mean let's get crazy in any way, whether it's jumping, whether it's barking, or whether it's just crazy behavior. All right, thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Okay, how do you go about creating the calmness in the crate? Uh, oh, Same thing in the crate. So the way that we teach dogs is we have to get the dogs to take our word for it. So if down means down, then down means down no matter where it is. No matter if it's in the living room, no matter if it's in the crate, no matter if it's at the vet's office, no matter if it's at the groomer's, no matter if it's out in public, down means down. Down, and you must do so. If you don't have that sort of level of obedience yet, you have to get that way. Okay, so I would suggest checking out I have a whole do-it-yourself playlist on YouTube that will teach you how to get that non-negotiable down that you'll need. Okay, but that's how you get a dog to become calm in the crate. Give them something to do that they must do. And then they start to be calm in the crate. I have a 9-year-old male Rottweiler who's a wonderful dog, but he is dog aggressive. What is a good starting point to help him curb this behavior? Um, let's see. When you're dealing with a dog aggressive dog, you must try and see if you can find a friend or a family member who has a really calm dog who first and foremost could probably have the opposite gender of your dog. Okay, dogs are easier on. So let's just go through the list of dogs who fight. Statistically, male and female fight the least, and then male and male fight the second least, and then female and female fight the most. Okay, so if you have that Rottweiler, get I would find, if it's a male, I would find, if you could, another Rottweiler, because it's also my opinion through my time working with dogs that dogs of the same breed get along. So optimum way of introducing your dog to other dogs would be to get a female Rottweiler that is submissive or opposite temperament of your dog. If your dog if it's 9 years old too, then it's gonna take some work. But I would probably get a calm, older Rottweiler female if you can find it. Otherwise, let's just go down a level. Just get a calm female, because dogs are gonna take to calm dogs much easier than they would a young, exuberant dog. But the opposite gender is definitely more important. Sometimes I would just say in general, not all the time now. Okay, I'm not just saying this as but in general. Okay. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Good luck. I also have, I just put up a dog socialization video on dog aggressive Great Dane, and it explains step by step on my YouTube channel. Newest video I just put up, step by step on how to introduce any dog, no matter aggressive or not, to your pack or your new dog. Okay, so check that out. Okay, we have a new dog in the house, and it bites the pit bull's legs. Okay, this new dog just goes right in for them. The pits do nothing. So, is this play? The reason I'm asking is because the biter has his teeth showing. No growling. They take breaks. This same dog plays with my grandsons the same way. No biting. Not biting. It just looks rough. The kids laugh and run in the house. Dogs play this way with kids. New guy has been here for 2 months now. I understand play bite, but this dog has teeth showing on top of the teeth in front. New guy is a 40-pound lab mix. I would say this. All you have to do to ensure that it's okay and fair is stop the dog every now and then. Give the dog breaks. If it becomes a situation where the dog is not under your voice control, you to avoid any conflict, you want to be able to have that control. Hey, stop, take a break, sit. Those things should get your dog to actually do those things. Stop, sit, or take a break. You want that to ensure, to guarantee nothing happens if you're in question about it. That's how you answer that question for yourself. If anything becomes a situation where they seem to not give a crap about your word or existence, then you must stop it. Okay? Thanks for your question. I do that. Test it. Got it. Thanks. Yeah. Then if you can do that, then I don't see a problem with any playing. You'll get to learn the dog, and Okay, some dogs do some things that'll make you go, whoa, what was that? But as you get to know the dog, if you think that behavior is harmless, then no problem. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay. All right. Never mind. You answered my question. Okay, great. I think I got them all on YouTube. Okay. All right. Next question. Let's see. Uh, okay, where is that at? Okay, here we go. I have a. Oh no. Uh, when dogs follow you from room to room, is it an issue of separation issue? Yes, it could be. And it also could just be them being super clingy. Could be just sort of a codependency type deal. Once again, I'm going to go back to it. If it is something that you can't control, then you want to gain control over it. It's just going to be for your dog's benefit. If they're doing anything obsessively, try and see if you can actually get them to open their mind about it. It's going to help them learn. And it may help their confidence. So people talk about how to get a dog to be more confident. Well, let them truly, truly trust your word. They can gain confidence by their trust in you. And the only way to get there is to be consistent. Does come actually mean come? When you say it, how many times do you have to say it? If you have to say it 3 or 4 times, and if that doesn't work, you got work to do. Your dog should come to you when you say come. Your dog should go lay down when you say go lay down. And it sounds like all this is just being tough, but it's also the key on getting your dog through being annoying to guests or to you, melting anxiety away, and creating a respectful relationship. Okay, so the priority on any dog should always be the respect. That's how you guarantee your dog being safe and having your guests be safe and or other dogs be safe. Is they must respect you. They don't even have to like you, but they must respect you. Respect is the most important thing. But then, as a result of their respect, they trust you and they like you. No dog leaves my board and train not liking me. They don't come liking me. It may take a minute, but they like the fact that they don't have to worry about another dog attacking them. They like the fact that they don't have to worry about someone coming up to them and invading their space and petting them, which they have bitten people before. They like those things, and so naturally they then start to like me because I'm their protector and educator, and they take my leadership and can actually relax. That's what you're giving them. You're actually giving them the opportunity to relax in this world as opposed to having a stressful walk. Some dogs can't go on a walk without stressing the heck out about cars, bicyclists, joggers, walkers, dogs, you name it, squirrels. So to be able to give them the gift of relaxation, clear their mind, and that's a good thing. And every dog should have that because it's real easy to snuggle, pet, give treats. All those things are easy. And it's also superficial too to the dog. What's more important is that the dog can actually learn how to coexist in this world so that you can actually include the dog in more activities of your life. as opposed to keeping the dog in the house, keeping the dog behind the baby gate, keeping the dog in the crate, not going here, not going there. He's not good enough to do this. How about having a dog you can take everywhere and really enjoy the things that life has to offer, no matter how many dogs are around or no matter how many people are around. So that should be the goal. That should be the goal, but it requires tough love. The love part is easy, and the tough part is also easy. But tough love is harder. And if you're just tough, you will have a dog that will rebel and bite you. And if you just have love, you will have a dog that will rebel and bite you. But tough love is the balance that is required for you guys to optimize your relationship with your dog. All right? All right, I've said enough. I've spoken enough. I appreciate you guys watching. If you could be so kind as to give me a thumbs up, like or subscribe on YouTube, I would much appreciate it. We'll be here next week, same time, willing to answer some questions. I appreciate you guys watching. See you next week.